There we go. Okay. Now all cylinders are firing. Thanks so much for being here. Welcome to my very first soul healing health class. I'm going to be combining three areas of wellness that I've been studying for the past 10 years: spiritual formation, doTERRA essential oils, and whole healing. Bringing together so much goodness in all areas of body, mind, and spiritual wellness. And we'll be launching our soul healing business officially next month. But I was so excited to share that I didn't want to wait. And so I put together this special class for this special time. This is a really big week for us. So obviously, it's Thanksgiving coming up in a couple days. We have some fun family time planned. And it's also doTERRA's BOGO week. So if you're not familiar with what that is, it's an opportunity that they offer a couple of times a year where you can buy one oil or product and get something else for free. So it's really fun, and I'm going to be highlighting some of those oils during the class tonight. So let's just jump in. There were a few things that I recommended you might do to prepare for this evening's class in advance. So let's just click through those and make sure that your environment is set up to enjoy this class to the fullest. Hopefully you found a comfy seat, a quiet place to sit and listen. And if you haven't already, grab your notebook and journal, or journal and a favorite pen. Maybe you brought an oil along to use. Feel free to drop that in your hands and take a deep breath in, or maybe you're diffusing. I've got one of our brand new oils, which is Harvest Spice. This is diffusing behind me, and if Thanksgiving had a smell, this would be it. The oils in this blend are cassia, clove, eucalyptus, cedar wood, nutmeg, and cinnamon. So it's absolutely delicious. I love the smell in here this evening. So if you've got an oil that you would like to use, I invite you to use that as well. And then maybe you brought along a warm beverage to sip. And so as part of our health classes, I'll always be sharing a recipe. And so the recipe I'm going to share is actually already posted on the doTERRA team Facebook page for our team. That's doTERRA Essential Oils with Team Share and Shine. The top page, the top post on that page should be our turmeric golden milk. And this is delicious. Greg actually made it a little bit ago, so I've already been sipping on my mug. It features one of our BOGO oils, which is turmeric. So I thought I would share a little bit about that. Cheers. I'm going to take a quick drink. This is so good. I was a little nervous because it's got such crazy ingredients in it. It's got turmeric, black pepper, ginger, and cinnamon. And ginger's not my favorite. It's not overpowering. The turmeric is a big taste. Cinnamon is a big taste. Black pepper is also big. And I won't go through all the benefits of all the oils because that would take too long, but I do want to feature turmeric just briefly because that is the oil. If you buy that today, it's $28 plus tax. And then you will get lavender for free, which we will be talking about that in a little bit too. So some of the benefits of turmeric: packs a powerful punch for anyone with occasional discomfort and helps support a healthy immune response. We use it to support healthy brain function, detoxification, and improving mood. This oil is known to help keep your cells healthy and to get rid of unhealthy, unwanted cells. We all need this. So say goodbye to those free radicals and cellular oxidation. And then I just wanted to read briefly, we're all still getting to know this oil. Where's turmeric? This is turmeric. We're all still just getting to know this one because this is a new one shared with us at convention this year in September for the first time. And I just received this beautiful testimony from a friend just this evening. And so I wanted to share this. There's a little boy in the picture, and he looks to be maybe 7 or 8 years old, from the best I can tell. He's wearing his cute little sports jersey with a number on the back, and he's doing his homework, and his mom is holding up her bottle of turmeric and says, "This oil is changing this kid's brain, literally. Our youngest has done speech therapy in the past and is currently in vision therapy. A month ago, he would cry for an hour trying to write his 6 sentences, presumably for his homework. We put 2 drops of this oil under his tongue every day, and now he sits down willingly and writes his 6 sentences in about 10 minutes with a happy attitude. Turmeric oil, which is much better absorbed by the body than the powdered supplement, can help accelerate the rate at which healthy neuronal stem cells are created. This is great for older people who might be struggling to recall memories. Turmeric oil helps to create new pathways in the brain to old memories. For this kid, turmeric oil has helped to create new pathways for learning. So I'm just celebrating with that mom and her son tonight for finding something that works. That's just really cool and amazing. So let me share my screen with you. Pull up our PowerPoint for tonight. And begin. So I want us to start by just taking some deep breaths together. And if you've not practiced deep breathing before, then we're going to learn and do it together tonight. So I want you to try to take deeper breaths than you normally would. And I'm going to suggest 3 seconds for breathing in, 3 seconds to hold that breath, and then 3 seconds for your exhale. And just try to do that. If that feels too long and uncomfortable, then just go a little bit longer and start to build up. Ideally, you're going to be able to hold that for 5 to 6 seconds on your inhale, your held breath, and then your exhale. But you want to work up to that. So if you can go for 2 to 3 in this moment, that would be really great. And just practice filling your lungs all the way up and actually all the way down to your diaphragm and your stomach. You want to fill that whole cavity with breath and then hold it for as many seconds as you can and then do your exhale. And you just keep doing that. I'm going to read you some of the benefits of deep breathing. These are amazing. Deep breathing makes you calmer. And I'm going to give us a foundation and then we'll build on it with some other benefits. Breathing deeply and feeling calm is actually your natural state. Deep breathing naturally relaxes the mind and body. Breathing deeply is the fastest way to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, also known as the relaxation response, which makes you feel relaxed. Stress is at the core of most diseases, and most of us live stressful, busy lives, which is commonly accompanied with shallow breathing. When we breathe shallowly, the body does not receive as much oxygen as it needs, and it makes our muscles constrict. You can almost feel this tightening when you are stressed or tense. The sympathetic nervous system is triggered when we feel stress or anxiety and sends out spikes of cortisol and adrenaline. It is the parasympathetic nervous system which counteracts this, and breath is the fastest way for these two systems to communicate. With deeper breathing, you can turn the switch from high alarm to low in seconds. Remember, if you ever feel anxious, to breathe deeply. Pay attention, and you can feel the peace coming in and the tension being released as you simply but deeply breathe in and out. So how does that feel? Hopefully you're already feeling a little better. Settle into your seat, even close your eyes if you want, and keep practicing that deep breathing while I'm just going to read a few more benefits. Deep breathing helps to detoxify the body. Deep breathing relieves pain and makes you happier. Breathing deeply will increase the neurochemical production in the brain and release more of the ones that elevate moods and control pain. Deep breathing helps to improve your posture. You notice that as soon as you took that first really deep breath, you just naturally straightened your spine and sat up a little taller. That's a great side benefit. Deep breathing stimulates the lymphatic system. And I want to read a little bit more about this one and go into a little more depth here. The lymphatic system is a crucial system in our body that most of us are fairly unaware of. We know much more about our circulatory system, but we have twice the amount of lymphatic fluid in our body as we do blood. Our circulatory system relies on our heart to pump it, while the lymphatic system relies on our breathing to get it moving. The blood pumps oxygen and nutrients to the cells, and once they absorb what they need, they excrete their waste back out into the sea of lymphatic fluid that our cells constantly swim in. The lymph fluid is responsible for ridding the body of the debris the cells excrete and also dead cells and other waste. As our breathing is what moves the lymph, breathing shallowly can lead to a sluggish lymphatic system, which is not detoxifying properly. Deep breathing will help get that lymph flowing properly so your body can work more efficiently. So important. Deep breathing increases our cardiovascular capacity. Deep breathing gives you energy. Deep breathing improves your digestion. Deep breathing strengthens the major organs of your body, such as the lungs and the heart. Deep breathing helps to regulate weight. I bet you weren't expecting me to say that, so let me just go into a little more detail. That's kind of big news. If you're underweight, the extra oxygen will help to feed the cells and tissues. If you are overweight, it will assist with weight loss. The extra oxygen in the body will help to burn up excess fat more efficiently. When we are stressed, and most of us live day to day in a fairly stressed state, your body tends to burn glycogen instead of fat. Deep breathing triggers the relaxation response, which encourages the body to burn fat instead. Such good news. So if you eat a big meal or if you're feeling extra stressed, just know that that deep breathing is also going to help you manage weight. You want a few more benefits? Deep breathing helps you sleep better. It lowers blood pressure, increases circulation, and it overall is one of the easiest ways to improve your health dramatically that you can easily do from anywhere at any time at no cost. Now you need to count the cost of not breathing deeply on a regular basis. And hopefully that's an element of self-care that you'll want to start incorporating into your daily routines. Let's face it, managing a business, taking care of your family, learning new things, serving others, and taking care of yourself is a lot. So it's so important just to take a few minutes, several times each day. At a minimum, I would do morning and evening to stop and center, refocus and breathe, and feel all those benefits as your mind stops racing and your body and spirit come back into alignment and order. So on that note, hopefully everyone is ready to begin our class. So let's start with what is self-care. And I have good news for everyone. You're already doing it. So just because you showed up for tonight's class, commend yourself. That's a huge step in the direction of self-care. Just setting aside even an hour of time to say, I'm going to do something for me. I'm going to rest. I'm going to do something restful and relaxing. I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to feed myself with nourishment, with truth, with good things. You're already doing it. All the things that we did to set the scene for this class tonight were intentionally elements of self-care, things that you can start to do on a regular basis. And we'll be touching on those throughout the class. Just to give you a basic definition though, working definition, self-care is any activity that we do deliberately in order to take care of our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Good self-care is key to improved mood and reduced anxiety. It's also key to good relationships with yourself and with others. Now, who you are is unique. So what you're going to need to find balance, joy, and peace in your life is also going to be unique to you. So here's a quick example. Say a good idea to me sounds like curling up on the couch with a blanket, a cup of hot tea, and a really good book. That sounds amazing to me. But if I'm a book editor and I'm looking at books all day, then that might not be the thing for me. What if I would rather take a hike in the woods? Yes. I'm an editor. I'm spending my time indoors holding books all day. I love to go out and take a hike in the woods. But what if I'm a park ranger and I'm spending my whole day out in the woods? That's not going to be the thing that refreshes me. So I might want to go for a pedicure. You get the idea. Another example, maybe you have children and you just long for a few moments alone, a few moments of peace and quiet. You may find that on a weekend retreat. You may find that alone in your car in an abandoned parking lot. You may find that in just a brief moment locked in your bathroom or your closet. There's no shame in any of that. However you can get your self-care, you do that, and you just start small and you work up from there. I've also been in a season of life where I've longed for children. And so the activities that might speak life into that would be serving at a preschool, volunteering at a school or in a youth ministry. Just surrounding yourself with children and their energy is going to fuel you and feed you and encourage you in that dream that you have. So based on you, where you are in this season, what your needs are, that's what you're going to use to figure out what self-care looks like in your life. And so tonight, the purpose, the intention of our class is to help get you to a place where you're open and ready to make these types of activities a priority in your life. And so next, we're going to look at just a few guiding principles. The first one is self-care is not selfish. And this was a big lesson for me to learn when I first started taking better care of myself. I had been ignoring myself for so long that shifting that focus really did feel selfish. And I don't want you to feel that way, because it's actually the exact opposite of being selfish. Taking care of yourself is the best gift that you can give to all those around you. It's not only going to shape your own personal health, but it's going to shape how you come into all the relationships that matter in your life. And so it's an investment. And just like they tell you on every airplane that you get on before you take off, if you have a situation where you have to put the oxygen mask on, they're always going to tell you to put yours on first before you help someone else. That way you have what you need coming in to make you available in such a way that you're equipped to help that other person, that you're not finding yourself wanting to help another person, but passing out from exhaustion or just not having enough to give to be able to help that person in a meaningful way. So that plays out in real life. And then the other two guiding principles are slowing down and showing up. And whether or not you're slowing down has a direct impact on how you're showing up. So let's look at these two principles a little more closely. Slowing down. And the beauty of fall and winter rhythms. So here we are in November, and we are experiencing shorter days. It's getting dark earlier, especially here in Central Ohio, where we live. Where I feel like we're just getting a clear message from God, from Mother Nature, that it's time to slow down, because we literally have fewer hours in the day where we have daylight. So I would say probably most days out of the year, you feel like there's not enough hours in the day. And then all of a sudden we come into this season where our physical day, our daylight, gets so much shorter. And so instead of that, oh, it's crunch time feeling like, oh my gosh, I have all this pressure. Now I have to fit all these things and possibly more into a shorter time period. What if we looked at that a little bit differently? What if we said yes to that invitation that God and Mother Nature seems to be extending this time of year? And what if we take advantage of these shorter days to then be more intentional about how we craft those days, what they look like, how we spend that time? So let's look at the choice that we have. We always have a choice in front of us. Are we going to try to keep up with the crazy, or are we going to be more intentional? So anything you see on social media, on TV this time of year, it's telling you you've got to ramp up. There's shopping to do. There's all these events to attend, parties and concerts, and go, go, go. And so how do we fit even more, with this increased social schedule into a calendar that already feels tight, and now our days feel shorter? So what if we turned that all upside down and just became incredibly more intentional and really evaluating our yeses and our nos? And so maybe saying yes to a few less things where we're just out and we're serving and we're giving and we're doing, and instead saying yes to these activities that give us life. So let's see a little bit what that looks like. And we're going to be able to tell right now, as far as just taking our pulse and figuring out where to go from here, as far as how are we showing up? How are you showing up? Which one of these seems familiar? I used to always show up moody and exhausted. And that was the exact opposite of what I was wanting. But I was just giving so much of myself away, and I wasn't refilling the tank, so to speak, that around my closest friends and my family members, I just didn't have much left to give. And so what they were getting was the end of me, the mood swings and just sheer exhaustion. And so I've been able to shift into a vibrant and positive lifestyle and outlook and the way that I show up because of these self-care choices that I started to make a few years ago. And I think you'll find too that incorporating some of the elements of self-care will make all the difference in your life, not only your personal health, but all the relationships in your life. And so I want to look at a couple models that I've come to know in these last 10 years that are great ways of looking at this and just giving you a foundation to work from. So this is the first one. This is doTERRA's wellness pyramid. And you'll see that we focus on lifestyle choices. And I say in most of my doTERRA classes that I love that they call us wellness advocates. And I love that we have a wellness pyramid. So they could have easily called us essential oil advocates, and then that would have left out the full picture. Because our oils are not a magic pill or a magic bullet. They're meant to go hand in hand with all these choices that we get to make in our daily lives. So you'll see things like eating right, exercising, resting and managing stress, and reducing toxic load as the foundation of our healthy lifestyle. Then you see, building upon that, the concepts of informed and proactive self and medical care. So what that means is that you have, for 80% of the things that come along day to day, just the normal colds, flus, symptoms, things that pop up, you're going to be equipped and you're going to be empowered to handle those at home naturally with the tools that you have. And then because you've been more focused on yourself through your self-care practices, you've developed an awareness in your body and your mind so that when the time comes that you know you need to seek a medical professional to help you figure something out, you're going to be able to do that in a timely manner so nothing becomes chronic or critical. This next diagram is the sun diagram. This was created by my good friend Cynthia Sumner, who is the creator and founder of Whole Healing. The principles that you see here are part of a program that walks you step by step through the benefits of each of these elements and how to incorporate them in your daily life. Your healthy lifestyle builds on a firm foundation of faith, which you see there at the top, faith in our bodies as divine creations, and then you just add in the others one at a time. So you build on that faith in your body specifically, with elimination, live food, exercise, water, sunshine, oxygen, sleep, and more. That's just a brief overview. So you're probably noticing that in those couple of diagrams that I shared, there's nothing really new there. Probably you've seen all of those things before. Many of them you're at least aware of, if not trying to incorporate into your life. But I want to make the point that just because they're known and just because they seem like simple, basic things doesn't mean that they're easy. Incorporating them, certainly looking at all of them together, if you're not yet in a place where you're doing that regularly, it can seem daunting. So I just want to enter into this next session with so much grace and to say that this is a good time for more breath. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, the last thing we want you to feel when you're coming from a world and a crazy busy life of overwhelm is to be overwhelmed by one more thing, especially self-care. We don't want it to become just one more box that you're trying to check or 10 more boxes that you're trying to check. So take some deep breaths and think through what would be one area that seems to be resonating right now that you could choose to say, I'm just going to take one step forward in this area. I'm just going to take a step. For me, here are some words that have become really meaningful to me in just even the last year. Thanks to Tiffany Peterson, I now subscribe to progress, not perfection. And so it's just that act of taking the next step and the next step, and you just keep moving. You don't use this self-care umbrella as a club to beat yourself with, but you just keep making progress. And if you make a mistake, if you fall down, then you just get up the next day and you start over. Just to share a little bit of my personal experience. So about 8.5 years ago, I decided to quit drinking Coke and Mountain Dew. And at first that was really, really hard because I loved those drinks. They were serious crutches in my life. And the process of switching from those to clean, pure water wasn't easy for me. But over time, I did quit drinking those on, it was a day in August in 2010, and I never went back. But I did, as I was making progress, I drank some sweet tea and some other things that became new crutches until I fully embraced drinking water and all the benefits that that brings into your life. And so now my new frontier is exercise. I've never loved exercise. Any of my friends or family members who are listening to this class, watching this class tonight, know. And I can still say, honestly, I don't love exercise, but I've become more educated in all the benefits to doing daily exercise. And so I want it to be a significant part of my life, even though I'm not quite there yet. So I've come to a place where I'm at least doing exercise once a week. So just start small, take a step. And so there are plenty of weeks where I do it a bunch of days during the week. I just went on an amazing Christian yoga retreat to Greece where we did yoga multiple times a day. And so that week was just jam-packed with all the benefits of exercise. I'm not quite to a place where I'm going to do that every week yet. And so I just celebrate, I look back on where I was with drinking Coke and Mountain Dew and where I am today with water and how that's just such a solid, oh my goodness, of course I drink water type of practice in my life. I have every faith and confidence that I can get there too with exercise. And so that's my encouragement to each of you. There's always going to be a new frontier for each one of us. And it's just all about encouraging each other on the healthy path. And so I hope that I can be that encouragement for you. So let's look at, these were some very physical things that we've just talked through, and certainly my examples were very physical. I wanted to do some practical applications with something that's very common this time of year is about getting in touch with our emotions. And typically during this time of year, we experience an extreme range of emotions. So it's the perfect time of year to lean into a little more emotional support. And so let's just go over, you could be feeling anticipation, which could be positive or negative, depending on, if you're a little kid thinking about that gift that you're going to get this year, or if you're dreading, oh my goodness, there's a really difficult relative that I don't see often during the year, but I know I'm going to be spending time with them, and just how do I prepare myself? How do I prepare my heart for that to be a better experience than it's ever been? You might be experiencing incredible joy. You might be experiencing something called expectation hangover, and that's exactly how it sounds. Check out the book by Christine Hassler. It's excellent. It really defines well what this looks like in various seasons of your life and tools to deal with it. But just to state it briefly for you, it really is exactly what it sounds like. You come season after season with certain expectations. They don't get met. And if they just keep getting stuffed down and you're not processing through those emotions, then you actually start to feel physical symptoms in your body, which might feel like the hangover that some of us know what I'm referring to. If you've had too much alcohol or really too much of anything, and your body becomes overwhelmed. So you might be dizzy, fuzzy in your head. You might feel confused. You might be off balance a little bit. feels like the world is spinning. You might also develop nausea and some severe digestive issues. It can go that far. So check that out if that might be a support to you. Sadness is common during this time of year, whether it's the seasonal affect disorder, abbreviated to SAD, just because we have that reduced sunlight, or it's cold, or you have aches and pains in your body. There's just all kinds of things that can bring us to that opposite extreme of joy and just feeling really sad or not like ourselves. It's completely normal and common this time of year. And then all the way to grief. If you're experiencing any kind of loss, whether that's loss of a loved one, or really any experience of loss might come up more so during the season than any other time of year. And so it's just good to acknowledge that full range of emotions and look for where can we find some emotional support. And so I want to give you some very practical tools that you can start putting into place. And the first area that I want to talk about is forgiveness. There's so much that can be done in the area of forgiveness. And so I just want to list out a few things that you can do, very practical, easy things so you can work through the process of forgiving. Maybe you need to forgive someone else. Maybe you need to forgive yourself for something. So consider that from either angle. And a real simple practice you can do with your journal is just write out in a paragraph, I state your name, forgive, either state myself or the person's name for whatever that offense was, and go ahead and just write that out. And then go through that process in writing of forgiveness. I choose to forgive them and I release them to their highest good. And you're just going to want to keep doing that until it's true for you. The first time you do it, who knows how many times it's going to take. That's personal for every single one of us. But just keep doing it until you believe it. Just keep doing it until you experience the freedom of it. Another one is to have a conversation, and I would call this a spirit-to-spirit conversation. Maybe there's a hard conversation, a difficult conversation that you feel like you need to have with the person, but that person is not in a place where it would actually happen in a healthy manner. So you're not going to call that person on the phone or invite them to a one-on-one conversation. You're just going to go in a room by yourself or in your car, and you're going to have that conversation out loud, but with that person's spirit. So you're just going to speak from your heart, and you're just going to dump out all of your emotion, however it rolls out. The other person's not sitting there, so you don't need to pretty it up or make it formal. You can cry if you want. You can hit something if you want. Use whatever language you need to just release all of the emotion tied to that conversation. Release it from your body, release it from your mind, and let it go. And then just walk through that same forgiveness exercise out loud. I, Christy, forgive myself for whatever it is, and I release you to the highest good. I'm ready to move forward. Typically, you only need to have that conversation one time, and then you feel amazing. And what's really fun is that after you've had that conversation, just notice how your interaction with that person, if that person is someone that you still see, maybe it's a coworker or someone at your child's school, or who knows where you might run into them in your daily life. But after you've had that spirit-to-spirit conversation, try and see if something just naturally shifts in that person and your relationship opens up and comes to a more healthy place. So just see if that might happen for you. This is a really physical thing you can do. If you have access to a large, heavy rock, pick it up and throw it. Don't destroy any property. Go to your backyard or a place where there's room. Make sure you have space, but just pick it up and feel the weight of it. And know that whatever this thing is that you've been carrying around is heavy and you're ready to let go of it. And so just feel the heaviness of it and then give it a good toss. And then feel the lightness and feel the freedom of not having to hold it anymore. Do it at least 3 times to fully experience that release. Let me know how that works for you if you try it. And then the last one I want to share under forgiveness is a Symphony of the Cells protocol. I recently became certified in the Symphony of the Cells protocols. There are 16 different combinations of oils that we would layer into your back, into the bottoms of your feet, that address these various issues, one of which is forgiveness. They address all kinds of physical symptoms as well as emotions. And so forgiveness is one of those protocols. If you're interested in learning more about that, you can come and see me for your first session, and then I can help you figure out which oils you need, and we can even show a close friend or family member how to do it so that you can keep doing it ongoing. You can come back and see me for a session once a week if you want, or once a month if you want. That way you get the full treatment with the table and all of that. But you can easily do it at home as well. And so I just want to make sure that's understood, that it's very accessible. Once I train you in it one time, you'll be able to keep it going so that over time you experience the full benefit of the protocol. The next couple I'm going to do together, these are the super G's of gratitude and generosity. And I want to talk for a minute about gratitude listing or gratitude journaling. And it's talked about all the time. But if I just mention it quickly and move on, then you might be like, yeah, I know I should do it, but I'm not going to. Or I'll give it a shot, and then you don't. But I want to focus in for a minute because this is really important. So I've just learned some neuroscience about our brains, and we've heard before we have left brain and right brain. So you probably are already familiar with the left brain is your analytical side. It's based on facts and figures. You might not know that it focuses on the past and the future. So it's either analyzing something that's already happened, or it's projecting into the future based on the past. So that's kind of how the left brain works. Then the right brain is where all of your emotions live, and it focuses on the present moment. It's where creativity happens. And so hopefully you can see where I'm headed with this. If we combine that right and left brain, then magic happens. And thanks to neuroscience, there are a few examples that they've found that when you're doing these activities, it brings that right brain and left brain together. So it becomes that perfect balance of, I know this is true, not only in your head space, but in your heart space, in your emotions. So it's really anchoring in, and it's becoming truth for you as you move forward in life. So versus just saying something out loud or typing it on the computer, writing out by hand is one of those activities that engages both the right and left brain, and is one of those times when the magic happens. So actually writing out your gratitude list daily, if you can, in your own handwriting, is going to anchor you to those feelings. And in your body, in your soul, you're going to feel the truth of them. And then that's going to become your reality. My reality is that I'm grateful because I have an amazing life. That's true for every single one of us. If you are on a computer or some type of electronic device participating in this class right now, you are one of the wealthiest, most blessed human beings on this planet. That's true. You may or may not be living out of that truth. And so you want to just ground yourself in the reality of how much you have to be grateful for, and then move forward from that. So just for your little side note, the other activities that they've learned that bring together that right brain, left brain magic are doing yoga or Tai Chi, writing poetry, and practicing centering prayer or any type of centering practice or meditation, which we're going to do a guided meditation at the end of this class. So look forward to that. Generosity is the other big one, and that does not have to be tied to money. So you can be generous with your time. You can be generous with the attitude that you bring to a space. You can be generous by giving somebody a big smile. So just a few easy ways to break into a generous space without having money. Now, if you do have some extra money to spare, then by all means, this is a great time of year to bless charities and people in need. So I invite you to do that. And if you've not yet connected with Tiffany Peterson online, she's in the middle of her global gratitude and generosity party right now. And I've posted a link before. I will post another one below this class so that you can link in. Let's see. It's Tuesday evening, so if you register yet tonight, you'll still have access to week 2. She does a new one every Wednesday in November. So you'll definitely be able to catch tomorrow's live if you want, or the recording's available for a week. And then there'll be another one on Wednesday, the 28th. And then at the end, she gives you an opportunity if you want to buy the whole series and just listen to them over and over again. I've done that multiple times. It's $50, so that's a pretty reasonable amount. She has amazing people join her for these calls, and you just get all kinds of gems and encouragement as you participate. So you can look into that if you want to go a little deeper into gratitude and generosity. The next mode of emotional support that I want to talk about is healthy live food. And so once again, everything's connected. So what we're feeding our body can actually help us both emotionally and spiritually. Even though it's a physical act, it's going to help us on those emotional and spiritual levels as well. And if you've been following me recently, you may or may not have realized that this transition into fall for me has been hard. I got the amazing blessing of a lifetime to go to Greece for the Christian yoga retreat that I mentioned earlier, and experienced more summer weather right into the middle of October. And so coming home, I really then was thrust right into fall weather, which might as well be winter to me, because really anything below 80 degrees, I'm freezing and somewhat uncomfortable. So my transition hasn't been easy. And so something that I've been leaning on is oranges. And I want to read to you from a beautiful book that I love called Life-Changing Foods. And I'm going to read to you just a little bit about oranges. This first paragraph is emotional support. The juice of an orange or tangerine is like liquid sunshine. If you often feel sad, weepy, glum, or down, oranges cut through the gloom and shine a light on your life. They are the perfect food to eat when you feel sun-deprived and lonely, as though there's an empty void that needs to be filled. Oranges take out all the chill and fill you with warmth instead. And here's a spiritual lesson. Oranges and tangerines remind us that we sometimes overlook the most important ingredients in our lives. Every now and then, we have to think about what we push aside or forsake and reevaluate whether all of it deserved to be devalued. In the case of these fruits, you may drink only the occasional orange juice and feel guilty when you do, snack on a clementine once a year, or try an infrequent spread of orange marmalade on toast. Whereas oranges and tangerines should rightfully be a centerpiece in your diet. As you make them a bigger part of your life, look around. What else is worthy of a second glance? And because we're in a class on self-care, you know what I'm going to say, that your self-care, your investment in you, is definitely worthy of a second glance. And so oranges are such a beautiful reminder of that. Whether you just cut open an orange and eat it, or squeeze it and make fresh juice to drink, any way you can get these amazing fruits into your life. They're going to fuel your body with vitamin C and vitamins and nutrients, and they're also going to boost your emotions and your spiritual life as well. So I highly recommend those. And then, of course, the list would be remiss if I didn't include breathing, which we already know many of the benefits to deep cleansing breath. But I'm going to use that word breathing to transition into a little discussion on essential oils and emotions. Now, I teach an entire class on this topic, and I'm not going to try to do that within this class. But in order to just share a few oils that I think you might like to incorporate into your self-care, again, I want to give you a little bit of a foundation of how they work and why it's so important to incorporate these into your lifestyle. So let me grab my notes on that. And begin with the fact that our emotions are chemicals, and that's how they function in our body. So emotions in their smallest, most basic form are chemical molecules. And what this means is that they have the ability to reach inside our cells. So that's going to have an impact on our energy level, on our physical bodies and any symptoms that we might be feeling, our behavior, and our moods. Because emotions are chemicals, they flow and are processed through the body in a number of ways. Like I said, they have access to pretty much wherever they want to go. They can even get to the heart of our cells. But you're going to find them in each of the three brains. And if you hadn't heard this language before, if you're an Enneagram follower, then these three brains are going to sound familiar to you. Even if they're not, you're going to find ways to identify probably which brain you're most likely to process emotion through. So the first one is the mind, like a conductor directing the body to feel emotionally and behave physically. So if you're a mind-brain person and you're leaning into illness or dis-ease, some type of unrest or unease, then you're probably going to experience symptoms such as headache or head and neck tension. You might have a really tense jaw or TMJ experience. Those are all mind-brain ramifications. Then if you're in the heart brain, you're discerning messages that our brain receives. So you're going to go into that place of discernment. If it's getting conflicting, confusing, and you're again going to that place of dis-ease, then in the heart space, you might feel heartburn or a tightness in your chest. You might have respiratory conditions that are common for you. And then finally, there's the gut brain. And if you're operating from that brain, then that one says, responds accordingly, distributing health or illness to the body. So the gut is kind of where everything lands, obviously, and then it's going to dictate to all the rest of the body what level of health that you're in. And so if you're not in optimal health, obviously you would be experiencing digestive issues. That one's kind of easy to point out. So we need some help with these three brains, because if we slip into dis-ease, what's the way to access these emotions and feel better? You might have been to a doctor appointment before and said, I feel pain in this area. And maybe they've done blood work, or maybe they've taken an x-ray and they come back and say, I can't find anything. It's because it's not a physical, the issue that you're having is not rooted in something physical. It's actually in the emotion, and it gets just trapped in these various areas of your body. So one thing you can use to release them is essential oils. So the beauty of essential oils is that they are also chemical compounds. And so this gives them that same access to your cells. Because both emotions and essential oils are chemical molecules, they interact chemically. A powerful reaction occurs as they make contact in the body. Essential oils are chemically complex as well, which results in their many different uses and applications. Essential oils promote emotional purification and anchor in healthy biochemistry. Efficient at detoxing the cell, essential oils also restore proper cell function. And so let's just explore a couple more points. Essential oils are extremely molecularly dense. And so what this means is that they can bring results that are sometimes immediate and also permanent. Let's consider some math. If one drop of essential oil has 40 million trillion molecules, and that's true, it does, and we have 100 trillion cells in our body, that's true, we do, then one drop of essential oil has enough to cover each cell with 40,000 molecules. That's a lot of coverage. That's a lot of impact on not only our bodies, but our emotions. Essential oils promote emotional and physical detox. They help remove conflicting cellular messages. They encourage cellular restoration and health. And this is also one of the reasons why essential oils don't carry side effects, is because they naturally move about within our bodies. They naturally have access to our cells and can bring about these amazing results. And so just a point that I need to make is that if these results are intriguing to you, if the impact, if the potential for emotional support coming from essential oils is important to you, then you want to make sure you have the highest quality essential oils in your home. And those are doTERRA because of our CPTG, or Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade Standard of Oils. And again, I go in a lot more detail in that in an introductory class, but for the sake of this evening, you take my word for it and you can dig a little deeper with me there later if you would like. And so where we're going to end here is with a variety of oils that I invite you to breathe in. The first set is our emotional aromatherapy collection. I'm not going to go into tremendous detail in all of these. I'm just kind of sharing a few that you might want to explore further if you're excited about the potential of essential oils for emotional balance, mood management, and just overall emotional well-being. So the 6 oils included in this kit, let me just move a little bit here, are cheer, motivate, passion, where are you? Peace, console, and forgiveness. And there is clinical data to support the efficacy of each of these 6 oils in particular. They evaluated them at an integrated oncology clinic. So evaluated them with the employees of the clinic, and they found that all 6 of the oils were statistically significant in raising the likelihood of experiencing positive emotions and decreasing the likelihood of having negative emotions. And I mean, that's a hard place to work. And so if you're able to shift in those employees, then just imagine the application for our everyday lives. And all of the blends are beautiful too. You can't make a bad choice among any of those 6. They would all be beautiful supports and additions to your self-care practice. Then I wanted to highlight our yoga collection. And even if you don't do yoga, these 3 blends are amazing. We have Anchor, Align, and Arise. And they bring to the table floral, tree, and citrus elements, which all in their own right can bring calming and balance to the body. So like I said, even if you don't do yoga, these are just beautiful blends to use in your day-to-day. But if you are a yogi, then you can also use them to fine-tune the intention of a particular session that you're doing. And this packaging, I think, is so pretty. It says on the inside, the body achieves what the mind believes, and has a little magnetic closure. And so this little set is wholesale $52. It makes a beautiful Christmas gift or holiday gift for someone. So I want to make sure to mention that. A few more to consider. Balance is a blend. So this has a lot of different tree oils in it. It's mixed with fractionated coconut oil, but it has spruce and frankincense, blue tansy and blue chamomile, which give it its blue color, and osmanthus as well. So a little bit of floral in there in addition to the tree scents, but it has a very earthy vibe to it. It's our grounding blend. One of its properties is that it also brings you closer to your creator. So I absolutely love that. Balance is one that I typically use daily. Oh, and I got a little bit on my fingers touching the bottle, so I'm just going to experience that right now. Cedar Wood is another favorite of mine. This is my favorite nighttime oil, actually. With Cedar Wood, I have a really positive connection to a memory of my grandfather. So maybe you had a cedar closet or a chest that you grew up with. So that's kind of what this smells like. Some people experience a smoky smell to it. I do not. I'm actually highly allergic to any kind of smoke, and I do not get that from this oil because I associate so strongly with that cedar smell. And my grandfather used to keep his cigars of all things in these little cedar boxes. And so just anytime I smell that, I remember back to spending time with him. And so it's a very positive association, which brings me to a place of peace and helps me have a wonderful night's sleep. So this one might do the same for you. I just love cedar wood as one of our calming, restful, peaceful oils. And then I promised I would speak a little bit about lavender. This is the one you would get free in today's BOGO. So if you buy the turmeric, then you get lavender for free. And this is our Swiss Army knife of oils. So you can use it really for everything under the sun. It's great for anything calming and relaxing. It's also wonderful for pain relief and wound care. It helps to stop bleeding. But in addition to that, as far as its emotional property, I wanted to hit on, it's the oil of calm, but it's also the oil of communication. So if you do need to have a difficult conversation or you're just making an important work presentation, then you might try lavender to calm your nerves, calm a racing mind, so that you can bring order to your thoughts and speak clearly and confidently. So lavender would be a good choice for that. And then I want to share wild orange. I wanted to bring in a citrus because that may seem counterintuitive when you're trying to come to a restful place. But for some people, this is exactly what they need. Some body chemistries just don't respond well to the tree or the floral oils, and citrus is what they're looking for. So while, like every citrus oil, it's very cleansing to the body, you can also clean your home with it. It's going to lift your mood and give you a boost of energy. It's just the thing you might need to raise you up out of anxiety or sadness or depressed type of feelings, any type of overwhelm. Just even smelling a little wild orange from the bottle can give you a huge shift in your emotions. So highly recommend wild orange. I've got a little bit of that on me too. Love it. And so I want to end with breathe. And even if you weren't an expert in essential oils, this is our respiratory blend. Just by the name, you could probably guess some of its physical properties. So breathe is great at soothing and opening airways. It's a perfect choice for seasonal threats. But I want to explore a little more deeply its emotional benefits because, and this is my favorite part of that whole emotional class that I teach, I share about how I came to find essential oils because my body was in such physical need. And so I leaned on all those properties, and that's what I learned about for years. But over the last couple of years, I discovered this book called Essential Oils and Our Emotions, and it goes deeper into the emotional benefit of each of our oils. And it just blesses my socks off. Each of these ones that are particularly physical, like Deep Blue and On Guard and Breathe, to also understand the emotional properties that they have. So let me just read to you Respiratory Blend from the Essential Oils and Emotions book. This is called The Oil of Breath. Respiratory Blend addresses the inability to let go of grief and pain. Individuals in need of respiratory blend struggle to breathe and literally feel suffocated by sadness. The lungs and air passages become constricted, preventing air and emotion from releasing. The root of this condition is feeling unloved. Individuals grieve the love they never received. They often shut down due to fear, not knowing whether the love they need will be there. They distrust whether it's safe to open and take in life. Respiratory Blend encourages individuals to release grief and sadness and to receive genuine love and healing. Respiratory Blend also supports one's relationship with spirit and deepens one's connection to life. It invites individuals to let go, breathe out, and receive, breathe in. In this way, this blend teaches individuals to embrace life through breath. Respiratory Blend imbues individuals with the courage to fully open. With this blend, you'll exchange negative emotions like sad, grieving, despairing, unloved, constricted, distrusting, and closed for the positive properties loved, supported, receiving, open, healing, solace, and embracing life. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? I just love that so much. Um, I hope after listening to that, that you can also see that the Breathe oil just has so much to offer. And tonight we're just scratching the surface on how essential oils can enhance your self-care experience, but I did want to give you just a sampling. And if this is an area where you're interested in learning more, then you just let me know. And I can let you know of some upcoming classes and events. And so now we are going to go over the most fun homework assignment you've ever had in your life. I promise. We are going to create a joy list. This is your homework to take away. So I encourage you to do this in your own time after we wrap up the class tonight. But I'm going to give you some, hopefully some inspiration to do your list. And so I want to start with this quote by Shauna Nyquist. And she's written the book Cold Tangerines. That's where the quote comes from. She's also written Present over Perfect. It's right there on my bookshelf, so I just want to make sure I say it correctly. Highly, highly recommend actually anything she's written. I love her style. But this is her quote that is inspiring me, and I hope it inspires you. I want a life that sizzles and pops and makes me laugh out loud. And I don't want to get to the end or to tomorrow even and realize that my life is a collection of meetings and pop cans and errands and receipts and dirty dishes. I want to eat cold tangerines and sing out loud in the car with the windows open and wear pink shoes and stay up all night laughing and painting my walls the exact color of the sky right now. I want to sleep hard on clean white sheets and throw parties and eat ripe tomatoes and read books so good they make me jump up and down. And I want my every day to make God belly laugh, glad that he gave life to someone who loves the gift. And so I just want to pause to there at the end, because if you're maybe not feeling 100% like you're living in a manner where you're giving God belly laughs every day, that's okay. I just want to bring you back to that place of grace and remind you that we're about making progress. And so even if you're just stepping into self-care, even if you're just still starting to do some of the things that she described in this amazing paragraph, then just know that you have a whole lifetime ahead of you to keep growing in your joy, to keep growing in all these ways that make God smile on you. And I just want to encourage you to begin, or encourage you to take a next step from wherever you are. So sometime when you feel like it's the right moment, I would go sooner rather than later. I want to say tonight, but you might be tired. You might be ready to just ease into bed and get a great night's sleep tonight. But as soon as possible, I invite you to create a joy list. And I want to give you just a couple guidelines to help you. It's only going to take about 5 minutes, but sit down and brainstorm what your list looks like. And here are some guidelines for you. I like to do at least one per day, but you may need to build up to that. And if you want to start with one per week, that would be fine. And your list should include, I say 15 of each. The left-hand column are all things that you can do for free. The right-hand column might involve an investment of money or some type of resource. So I never want your financial circumstances to impair or impact whether or not you're experiencing the joy of life. So you always want to have a hearty list of things that you can choose from that don't cost you anything. Things you can either do around your home or just take from things that you have and know that they're going to bring you joy. And so there's a bunch of ideas on the screen for you to screenshot and just a jumping off point. But I would love for you to take your own time, just even 5 minutes, and enter in with that deep breathing that we practiced earlier, and just remember the truth that you are worth investing in. And so as you brainstorm those things, what brings you joy? Some of them are just little things. but write them down, commit to them, engage that right brain, left brain, and just rest in that place that you are worthy of experiencing joy every single day of your life. And so I just pray that this practice would bring you great joy and become an easy way for you to incorporate some of the elements of self-care into your day-to-day life. And so I want to do a more formal wrap up now, because we're going to close with this beautiful guided meditation. And so I don't want to ruin our Zen vibe after we complete that meditation. It is like medication. I felt like, oh, I said the wrong thing, but it's like medication for your soul. So once we go into the guided meditation, then I'm just going to sign off very quietly with an amen, with a peace to you, and lots of love going out to all of you. But before that, so I wanted to just cover a couple bases. If you liked what you heard tonight, something that I always say in my spiritual formation groups is I'm not here to feed you, but I'm here to make you hungry. And so I hope that I've achieved that over the course of this class. I hope that the banquet table that I've spread before you with all these amazing different things to try has made you hungry for more. Hungry for wholeness, let's say. So we're going to be launching our soul healing business before the end of the year. You'll find it at christygammon.com. So that site is a live site right now, but we've been working behind the scenes, and it will be updated, and I will let you know when that happens, and then you'll be able to access the full menu of what we have to offer. And so, of course, there's the whole healing program, our flagship, that's going to be coming back available. I'm just finishing up leading a group through, and we're going to take a little pause, but we'll be opening that up at the beginning of January. If that's something that you're interested in, let me know. Your doTERRA membership, if you don't have that yet, this month is an amazing time to join. In addition to all the fun of BOGO week and the opportunity to buy some oils and get some for free, maybe try something new, if you actually enroll this month with your own membership and you spend 100 points, which in oil language, points equal dollars. So if you spend 100 points, any kit qualifies, or you can build your own a la carte order to equal 100 points. Then doTERRA is going to give you 50 points for free that you can then spend the following month or whenever you choose on whatever oils you choose. So that's really fun. Makes this a great time to join our team. So let me know if you're interested in that. And then spiritual formation, we've just launched our next group a couple weeks ago. And so we're thrilled to be walking some people through our 12 for 12 experience. And I'm currently in school as a spiritual director. So I'd love to have your prayers as I do this very joyful thing in my life. Attending these classes, reading the books are both things that are definitely part of my joy list in this season. And so just to have your prayer support as I go along means the world to me. So thank you for that. And then all three of these areas, the whole healing, doTERRA, and spiritual formation will be part of our amazing signature destination retreats that we're planning for you. And so hopefully in the near future, you'll join us as we travel the US and around the world and bring all these amazing principles and experiences to life for you. So let's connect for sure. Let me know if you're interested in learning more. If you want to know when the website becomes live, we can let you know. So I look forward to connecting with you all on a deeper level very soon. And so then let's close tonight with our guided meditation. And so just bring yourself back to that place of rest where we began this evening. And if you brought a special oil with you, now would be a great time to add a drop. I'm going to grab my Cedar Wood and do a drop of that myself. Just put a little bit of that in my palm. And breathe it in. Cedar Wood I also like to rub on the back of my neck. That's nice. And so let's begin our meditation practice with a few deep breaths. And you probably don't need to have your journal and pen in hand for this. If you want to pick up your mug, that would be fine. If you want to just breathe your oils, that would be fine. But feel free to close your eyes and just settle in. So let's breathe in and out deeply, as we talked about before, trying to take at least 3 seconds to breathe in, hold for 3 seconds, and then 3 to breathe out. Longer if that's comfortable for you. I'd also like to ask you to start with your hands in your lap with your palms facing down. This is to symbolize that as much as you can, you're letting go of any distractions. Like fluffy white clouds, they're just going to slowly dissipate and reveal a beautiful blue sky. Putting down anything heavy that you may be carrying, like a heavy piece of driftwood, you're just going to put that down on the sand and walk away. In dismissing any negative thoughts or thought patterns, like small shells, you're just going to drop those into the water and watch them wash out to sea, further and further away from you. We release all of these things. Now I invite you to embody a posture that symbolizes that you're open to receive. So slowly turn your hands in your lap so that your palms are facing up. Your hands are now open to receive the gift of peace. Be still in this posture and open your heart to receive peace. Be still and open your body, your mind, and your spirit to receive peace. Breathe deeply. And welcome the gift of peace into your very soul. Listen to the word of the Lord. The psalmist says, "Open your ears, God, to my prayer. Don't pretend you don't hear me knocking. Come close and whisper your answer. I really need you. I shudder at the mean voice, quail before the evil eye, as they pile on guilt, stockpile angry slander. My insides are turned inside out. Specters of death have me down. I shake with fear. I shudder from head to foot. Who will give me wings, I ask? Wings like a dove. Get me out of here on dove wings. I want some peace and quiet. I want a walk along the beach. I want a cabin by the shore. I'm desperate for a change from rage and stormy weather." Jesus says, "Do you finally believe? In fact, you're about to make a run for it, saving your own skins and abandoning me. But I'm not abandoned. The Father is with me. I've told you all this so that trusting me, you will be unshakable and assured, deeply at peace. In this godless world, you will continue to experience difficulties, but take heart. I've conquered the world." Spend some time in quiet reflection. Is there a word or phrase from these passages that stood out to you? If so, make a note of it so you can return to it in prayer or in your journal. Consider these promptings. In your own life, what has your insides turned out? Where are fear or guilt taking the lead? What do you want instead? What do you want? Give yourself permission and then answer freely. What do you want? What is your experience trusting in God? Talk to Him about this. If a memory of a time when He was trustworthy pops into your mind, soak in that. If you can't think of a time, then ask Him to show up for you as someone you can trust, and then be looking for Him. Imagine yourself unshakable and assured, deeply at peace. What does that look like? How does it feel? Does it have a taste? A smell? Try to go there and anchor into this place of deep peace with all of your senses. Now take some final deep breaths and rest in this truth. Though in this world we will have troubles, take heart. God has overcome the world, and we are the bearers of His gift of peace. Amen. And peace be with you all. I pray that you sleep really well tonight, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.